Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Hakuoki Kyoto Wins. We are on Hajime Saito's route. I was still skipping in the last episode when I ended it, so we ended up with this choice here, and I'll just head on in. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. This time I'm gonna stay. And I'm gonna cry for backup, which hopefully will bring Saito to rescue us. I wasn't helping at all. I was utterly useless in a fight, and I knew it. What could I do then? There was only one thing. Yamazaki, we should go find Kondo. Just when I screamed that.
We cannot allow any further outside interference.
Gah! Amagiri stared at me. Then suddenly...
Halt. I'm your opponent now.
Saito's hand clasped the hilt of his sword as he walked slowly before Amagiri.
Stay back, Yukimura.
You'll get no argument from me.
You are their objective. Do not make any sudden movements.
I responded. Got it. Got it. I took a few steps back. I know Saito knows best.
That's good. Leave the rest to me. Might we convince you to simply retreat? At Hamaguri, I had no reason to fight you. Unfortunately, I have a reason to fight you.
His voice was low and controlled, but I thought I sensed the current of tension beneath it. Saito then moved slowly to interdict Amagiri's approach. Was he protecting me? I should think that's pretty obvious.
You intend to stand in my way then? Very well.
The giant man flexed his hands, settling into a crouching stance. Saito's hand tightened on his sword. For several long moments, neither of them moved. The air was thick with barely contained intensity, and the ground could tear asunder, swallowing us. Seconds felt like hours as the two opponents regarded one another. And then... a shadow drifted across the moon, and the street briefly darkened. There was a blur of movement. When the light returned, Saito and Amagiri stood some distance apart, backs to one another as if they met for a single blow, and continued onward. And that's probably what happened. I had no idea what had just happened. Their moves were just too fast to keep up with. A breath of wind stirred my hair.
I had intended to end this with one strike. As had I.
And you both failed. Neither man looked the least bit surprised or concerned that his intended death blow was avoided. And look at Amagiri smiling there. Saito's eyes narrowed to piercing blue slits as he turned to face his opponent. Amagiri turned as well, matching Saito's intensity. They stood like that for a moment until Amagiri's glare softened. He didn't leave his fighting stance, but his arms dropped to his sides. I stood as still as I could. Both men stepped back, their fight clearly finished.
Further fighting serves no purpose. We will do nothing more than attract unwanted attention. What, you talking to me?
You're always the troublemaker amongst the three.
Come on, I know when to leave a party.
Oh, never mind, sorry, we're skipping. And here, yay, I get to be worried about poor Okita. For once again. Since Saito's gonna be there too. Should I try and catch up, or should I go around the back to reach the courtyard before they did? And that would be go around. Here we are, mostly worried about the Furies. January 1867, and I think we're at one of my very favorite Zuisoroku scenes ever, if we're in the right spot that I think we are. End of December 1867. The year had flashed before our eyes, and before we knew it, it drew to a close. It put us in high spirits, having experienced a year without any major battles or incidents. As everyone began gathering to celebrate the new year, we discussed our hopes for what was to come, and looked to welcome the season with open arms. Then, one snowy day in the middle of winter, something wonderful happened. It's cold. Well, yeah, it's winter, you kind of expect that. I felt his icy fingers trying to work their way under my blanket the moment I woke up. My breath puffed out in white clouds, and the light streaming in my window had an odd, bright quality. Was it possible? It's kind of neat those mornings when you wake up and there's snow and it's exceptionally bright, even through the closed window. Oh wow, I looked outside and gasped. A few flakes were still drifting down, but it clearly snowed much harder overnight. The entire compound was white. I thought it seemed colder than usual, and now I knew why. Huh? Amidst all the white, there was a column of black. A person. Was it... Saito? I hurried down the steps. He turned slowly and looked at me.
Oh, good morning. You've awoken early.
So have you. What are you doing out here all by yourself?
I was at the dojo for my morning workout. On my way back, I noticed the snow and stopped.
He fell silent again and looked up at the sky, his face full of muted emotions I couldn't decipher. If you just finished training, aren't you, sweaty? I feel like you should try and dry off or you're going to get sick.
Shouldn't you be inside near the fire? They say that cold is the source of many illnesses.
He continued to stare at the falling snow and gave no indication that he meant to move. We're concerned about each other being in the cold. Let's go inside together and warm up. I glanced down at his hands. The cold had already turned his fingertips red, but he either hadn't noticed or didn't care. Do you like the snow? He didn't speak, but from the look on his face, I could tell what his answer would be.
Snow is very powerful.
He looked up at the sky again, a faint smile pulling at his eyes. Powerful?
It covers everything, beautiful or ugly, and makes it the same. I almost feel as though I could let it cover me and become more pure.
Oh, Saito, you're pure enough for me. He looked and sounded as sober or serious as he always did, but there was a small satisfied smile on his face that I had never seen before. Eventually, he turned to look at me.
Shouldn't you leave? You aren't dressed for the cold.
Neither are you, apparently. No, I think I'll stay here and look at the snow with you a little longer. He looked at me for a moment with an expression I couldn't read.
You are strange.
You're one to talk. He turned back around as the snow fell silently around us. He blinked and looked at me.
Is something wrong? Do you wish to speak?
These choices. But I love this. Do you wanna, play? I mean, I know what she means, but in my mind, play means something else. I was just thinking that maybe you'd like to, play in the snow instead of just watching it.
Play? What do you suggest?
Well, we could make a snowman, or a fort or something. A fort? I guess a snowball fight wouldn't be very fun with just 2 people. Well, we could recruit people. His eyes widened.
A snowman and a snow fort. That sounds like something a child might say.
Really? Am I that childish?
I had not intended to be rude. Pay it no mind.
He turned around again, slightly more quickly than I thought, and looked at the snow.
In any event, I doubt there's enough here to construct a snowman.
Let alone a snow fort, apparently.
It would likely have melted by afternoon.
Oh, yeah. I felt a little smaller. He seemed to like the snow so much, but I felt like there had to be something I could do to make him happy. Of course. Oh, do you want to make a snow bunny?
What is a snow bunny?
Exactly what it sounds like. His eyebrows pulled down almost imperceptibly. Oh, come on, don't tell me you don't know. When I was a kid, I'd make them for Dad every time when it snowed.
I've never heard of them.
Then I'll make one for you right now. Hold on.
You don't need to trouble yourself on my account.
Oh, don't worry. It'll only take me a second. As I spoke, I began to search the yard for berries and leaves to fashion its eyes and ears from. Saito didn't move and watched me silently as I trotted around in the snow. Am I amusing you? For a moment, I felt like I was a child again, walking through the yard of my old home in the middle of the winter. Before long. All done. Here you go. One snow bunny coming right up. I picked up the bunny gently and carried it to him. He's so cute. He looks kind of freaked out, like, what the hell are you giving me?
I see. This is a snow bunny.
He stared at the thing in my hands. Yes, isn't it cute? Here, I made it for you.
For me? What do you mean for me to do with it?
He was visibly confused, which for Saito was saying a lot. Oh, you don't like it? I swallowed and started to step back, but...
No.
He was silent for a moment, then...
Your hands are so cold. When you return to your room, make sure to warm them.
You could bring me a brazier like Nagakura did. Oh. Until he spoke, I hadn't realized that our hands were touching. I blushed. Ah, so the face was about our hands, not about the bunny. But I love that expression on his face even more. His long, slender fingers were cupped around my hands. Even through the stinging cold of the snow, I could feel a faint warmth from them.
Is something wrong? Your cheeks are red. Do you have frostbite?
No, that's not it. With his deep blue eyes looking into mine, I felt very shy suddenly, and I rushed to pull my hands away.
And we should return. If you were to catch ill, Hijikata would be displeased with me.
He shouldn't be. It would be my fault, not yours. Oh, right. He looked down at the snow bunny I had unceremoniously deposited in his hands when I withdrew and smiled.
I am pleased to receive your snow bunny.
Oh, it's so cute. You should make me one too.
Unfortunately, I fear it will melt soon.
There was a hint of kindness in his normally flat tone. He inclined his head to me, then turned and walked toward the main temple. As I watched him go, I could still feel the warmth of his hands on mine. The snow bunny remained on Saito's windowsill until the snow melted. Nagakura and Heisuke saw it and laughed. Who knew? They said. Saito got so excited when it snowed that he made a snow bunny. I guess he was a kid once. Ito is leaving us once again, taking our darling Saito with him. How dare you? Which, yeah, might mean we won't have that much more of a Saito in this side of the game. Darn it. Darn you, Ito. Alright, well, I have to be concerned about the guards, of course. Oh, and I don't like that I have to feel betrayed. I want to just say I want them to stay, but then again, I don't know, Saito might just get kind of annoyed at that. He probably wouldn't want me being clingy, right? That's why he would feel better if I just felt betrayed about it. And here, of course, yes, we are staying with the Shinsengumi for a particular guy. And here I will go outside. Never mind orders. I do what I want. And this time, I'm staying quiet. If I resisted, the Shinsengumi would suffer. But if Hamagiri was telling the truth, then all I had to do was keep quiet and they'd be safe. We left the Nishihonwaji temple and shot out into the back streets of Kyoto. He ran so fast I almost felt as if we were flying. His hold on me had never relaxed, but he was moving faster than I'd ever seen anyone go. Not only were demons strong, it seemed they had other powers we'd yet to see. I shuddered. For now, it was probably best that I stayed quiet. I didn't know where he was taking me, but perhaps I could learn something about them if I did as he asked. My goal would be to gather information, and then look for a chance to escape. I was trying to guess where he might be going when Amagiri suddenly stopped. What's wrong? I don't know what happened.
I felt that if I kept running, my legs would be cut from my body.
Ah, he sensed the killing intent. What? Before I had a chance to ponder what he'd meant, Amagiri called out to the darkness.
Why don't you show yourself?
After a moment, I saw a shape move in the shadows. It stepped forward into the light, revealing... Saito? I'm so happy to see you. I don't believe it. I haven't seen him once since he left the Shinsengumi.
How strange that I would meet you here. Will you let me pass? I am in quite the hurry. Why are you with her? You have attacked the Shinsengumi headquarters and have taken someone under their protection. I am afraid I cannot let you pass.
He's expressionless as always, but his eyes seemed like he had showed signs of concern toward me. I wonder if I imagined it.
Why? I was led to believe you were no longer a part of the Shinsengumi. My relationship with the Shinsengumi is irrelevant.
It's his relationship with me that means something.
What is relevant is the girl. I somewhat doubt she has accompanied you of her own free will.
That is true. What is your intent?
Is it not clear? This.
The final word became a sudden yell, and Saito launched himself toward Amagiri, his sword springing from its scabbard. The momentum of his charge drove the blade into a sideways slash, and I heard the hiss of a sword pass inches from my ear. Amagiri saw Saito's blade and dodged it. I could hear the wind from the blade past my ears.
Fast, I see. A shame you are only human.
For now, at least.
You intend to fight while holding her. I was under the impression you wished to take her alive.
True, if Amagiri hadn't dodged that last strike, I would have been split neatly in two. Oh, Saito knows exactly what he's doing.
Make your decision. Her death means nothing to me.
And he knows how to bluff. Although it sounded cold, I could sense that he didn't truly mean it. Because if he truly didn't care if I died or not, he wouldn't have needed to get in the way of Amagiri. Yeah, he wouldn't be here in the first place. Suddenly, the weight of Amagiri's grip was gone.
Fine. I'll pretend your ruse has defeated me for tonight. Goodbye.
Sometimes these guys just give up so easily for no reason. They're just like, oh, I don't feel like dealing with this right now. I'm out of here. And with that, Amagiri was gone. Another shadow in a night full of them.
Are you unhurt?
When he asked me, I finally got a grip on myself. Yes, I'm all right. Thank you, Saito.
No need to thank me. I just happened to help you because I was passing by.
Would he have really killed me if Amagiri had refused to back down? No. It didn't seem very likely to me, but there was no way to know for sure without asking him. Then again, asking him wouldn't help either. I doubt he would give me a straight answer if I did.
What are you laughing about?
Oh, nothing. None of that, however, answered the question that had abruptly forced itself into my mind. What was Saito doing here? Are you... Perhaps this was more of a convenient imagination on my end. Going to come back to the Shinsengumi?
Don't misunderstand. I was only passing through.
Yeah, passing through to the Shinsengumi to deliver some secret information? Passing through? The back streets of Kyoto in the middle of the night? The only place he could have been going was the temple.
In any event, the members of the guard are forbidden from fraternizing with the Shinsengumi. If we are seen, there will be trouble. Go.
But I'm not actually part of the Shinsengumi. But you're a guest of the Shinsengumi. The expression on Saito's face wasn't one I'd seen before. On another person, I might have called it surprise.
And that is an interesting view. Unfortunately, I doubt the commander will appreciate the nuance.
Yes, he had a point. Hijikata would almost certainly take a much stricter view of the situation.
What's the matter? Why are you laughing?
Nothing. You just called Hijikata commander, Saito. A slip of the tongue?
It was a mistake. I did call him that for so long. Hurry, you should return. If you stay too long, you could be attacked by a Ronin.
But, Saito...
If you refuse to leave, then I will. I can no longer sense the demon. You should be able to return safely.
Oh. And he was gone. I know Saito was saying all that, but maybe his heart is still with the Shinsengumi. Although Saito didn't specifically say so. For some reason, I was sure of it. And I think it's time for another scene here. We are on October 1867. October 1867. Half a year had passed since Ito's departure. With 6 months to build, my anxiety had finally moved from mental to physical and given me a cold. Ah, yes, another great scene! Saito has so many good scenes! I was cleaning up after lunch, and as I was putting away dishes...
Hey, Chizuru, you don't look so good. Are you sick?
What? No, I'm fine.
What are you talking about, Sano? She's always full of energy. No way she'd get sick, right?
You're thinking of yourself.
No self-respecting illness will get within spitting distance of an obnoxious idiot like you. She's not like that. We can finish cleaning up, Chizuru. You can go back to your room and get some rest, okay?
Yeah, in case you don't know, it's a Japanese thing. They say idiots don't catch colds. Really, I'm okay. I say before I pass out on the floor.
Harada's right. Looks like you've got a fever. Chores are out of the question. Get back to your room and rest. Clear?
I certainly wasn't about to argue with Hijikata. Okay. I guess I'll let you finish up. I thanked them and scurried back to my room. Normally, I rarely took ill, so I hoped my fever would go down quickly, but unfortunately, it did the opposite. Even lying down, I began to feel increasingly woozy. My father had always said I was more resilient than most people. Surely a good long nap would cure it. I wouldn't think I'd get ill very often being a demon. But the sun went down and night came, and my fever still refused to break. Man, this must be like one serious virus that would have killed a normal person. I was alternately shivering and sweating, and my dull headache throbbed at the inside of my skull. After a while, I began to realize that I was thirsty. Then, perhaps because the fever was finally breaking, I began to feel nauseous. But... I felt something cold touch my forehead. Had one of the warriors come to check on me? I opened my eyes and struggled to focus them on the person in front of me. It was... Aww. The one that I wanted. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. There was no way he could be there. No way. Was I dreaming? I was too feverish to be sure whether what I was seeing was reality or just an illusion. A part of me worried that if I spoke, the dream would shatter and he would disappear. But I had to know. Saito? He didn't respond. Instead, he glared down at me. Why? I didn't get sick on purpose. What was happening? I tried to climb up out of my bed, but...
Stop. Do you want to make yourself worse?
His voice was barely above a whisper, but I could hear steel in it. So I did as I was told and dropped my head back into my pillow. But I gotta pee. Is that really you, Saito?
Who else would I be?
I could be seeing things. He lifted the now warm towel from my forehead, submerged it in a bucket of ice water, and then carefully reapplied it.
This fever is serious. You must have a bad cold.
Oh, I'm fine. I just need to sleep.
Didn't your master teach you not to overestimate your abilities?
What?
No matter how skilled you are, it takes only one mistake for you to lose to an opponent who is your inferior. The same applies to one's body.
Okay. I wasn't in any condition to argue, so I kept my mouth closed and pulled my blanket up a little higher. Silence hung in the chilly air. I wanted to say something, but I couldn't think of what or when. But there was something comforting about the silence, and I hadn't felt that way in a long while. Yeah, the best silences are with Saito. I looked over at Saito.
What is it?
Sorry for making you worry. I'm sorry for making you worry about me.
You should tell the commander and the rest of the captains. They're all worried about you.
But you're the one that matters. As he spoke, he picked the warm cloth up off my forehead. Quietly and carefully, he chilled it in the water, then put it back. Okay. He still put the feelings of others before his own. Whatever else might have changed, Saito hadn't. It felt as if things had gone back to the way they'd been. I think this is a dream after all.
Why do you say that?
Because you left the Shinsengumi, but now you're in my room talking about how I should worry about Hijikata. That can't be real, so this has to be a dream. Suddenly, he looked very tired. He opened his mouth as if to speak, then shut it again. It's a nice dream. I wish it would really come back, though.
Why would that make you happy? I don't follow.
Oh, don't be as dense as every heroine in every Otome game ever. Of course I'd be happy. I wanted to see you really bad. I smiled at him through my fever, but his face remained impassive. Not that I would have expected a reaction from Saito. In a way, it made me happy. It was just the sort of thing he'd do, and it warmed my heart. Ah, the familiarity.
Try to move as little as possible and make sure you rest. If your fever hasn't gone down by tomorrow, tell the commander to call for a doctor.
Okay. But if I fall asleep now, then I'll stop dreaming, and I'll miss you. For a moment, I thought I saw him blush, but then again, this was a dream. Maybe he did blush. After a moment, he reached out one of his hands.
Give me your hand.
Huh?
I'll hold your hand until you fall asleep. Perhaps that will help put your mind at ease.
Eee! Are you sure?
If you would rather not.
No, of course I do. I worked my weak, shaky hand out from under my blankets and took his. His skin felt cool and smooth, but strong, like very fine leather. Through the fever haze, I remembered the moment our hands had touched when I handed him the snow bunny I'd made. Your hand feels cool.
That's because yours is hot. You have quite a fever.
Sorry.
I wasn't scolding you. Everyone gets sick from time to time. You blame yourself too much.
I know. Even being admonished felt comforting and nostalgic. Aren't you worried I might give you my cold?
Morning will be here soon. I shouldn't catch it.
What kind of logic is that? I felt relieved, but also sad. After all, it was a dream. When I woke up, Saito would be gone.
Go to sleep. You're a doctor's daughter. You should know better than most the best cure for a cold is rest.
Yeah. I let my eyes drift closed. My fever hadn't been pleasant, but at least it had given me a nice dream to remember. And I got to feel Saito's hand in mine. I only regretted that it had been just a dream. If only you knew. I woke the next morning to the sound of birds chirping. My fever seemed to have broken during the night, and although my body was exhausted, I was no longer ill. I sat up slowly, and just as I'd expected, Saito was nowhere to be seen. Silently, I sighed. It had just been a dream. If only it could have lasted a little longer. Huh? In the corner of my room was a bucket of water, just like the one I'd seen in my dream. Ah, proof. Saito had used it to cool my towel. But that couldn't be right, could it? He's left the Shinsengumi. Surely he wouldn't risk coming back just to tend to me when I was sick. He rushed back over here just because he heard you had a cold. Nah, he was probably delivering a message and heard that I was sick and just had to stay and take care of me. November 1867, which we probably are... Yeah, okay. So it has the skip here, and I'll end the video here. So, I hope to see you on that next one or in some of my other videos, and I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.